Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are having a decent, had a decent week and hopefully a good start to the weekend. And I'm wearing my cool Minnesota Wild reverse retro, which apparently is going to be the alternate for next season, which is awesome. And of course, I think y'all saw the video when I unboxed this bad boy and the story behind it. But I wanted to look at something for Minnesota Wild related for the hometown team that it's a little depressing. But before I get into that, if you are new to the channel, or if you're new to hockey in general and you love the sport and you've fallen in love with it, just like I have, it would be absolutely awesome and greatly appreciated if you'd hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded, go ahead and you can tap the little bell. You can hit the bell, tap the bell, whichever, smash the bell, smash the subscribe, whatever the terminology is. It'd be awesome if you guys would do that. And yeah, it would be very, very greatly appreciated. So I wanted to look at a few different things here. And starting out, because this one hits home for us Minnesota Wild fans, and that is we have some issues. Which, by the way, I'm glad I went and got smaller markers, because it's kind of smaller writing, but I can write more stuff down, which I definitely don't mind. Now, I wanted to look just real quick, because there are a lot of restricted free agents out there, so there might actually be a lot more offer sheets thrown out there than we've seen in the past couple years. But I wanted to go through kind of what the offer sheet compensation is. And this all comes from Cap Friendly. I love Cap Friendly. I so love that site. But the offer sheets, they start out, and of course, I have them in millions here. And it starts off from 1 million to 1,415,740. That's no compensation. That's no, who's not gonna match that, right? So there's no compensation for that. From $1,415,741 to $2,145,061, that will cost a third round draft pick. So if somebody goes and puts an offer sheet out there to like some young player or whatever who doesn't maybe get a qualifying offer or something, and if the team doesn't want to match it, you get a third round pick. Then from $2,145,062 up to $4,290,125. That is one second round pick. So, you put an offer sheet in, you throw an offer sheet to somebody in that area, that will, and it doesn't get matched, that you then will give the team that doesn't match a second round draft pick. Technically, I guess the fourth tier, because we like, technically the first tier is no compensation, so can we really count that? So we'll just count these as the tiers from where the teams are giving up picks. So the third tier here is 4,290,126 to 6,435,186. That will cost a first and third round pick. So now we're getting into some serious we're getting into some serious area here. That's some halfway decent, decent money. Then we go to the fourth tier here. $6,435,187 to $8,580,250. This will cost 1 first, 1 second, and 1 third round pick. So now we're starting to get into the big the big compensation and the big picks. Down here then in the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth tier. The fifth tier starts at $8,580,251 to $10,725,314. So if an offer sheet is thrown out there to a restricted free agent and it is in that neighborhood, number one, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money to potentially offer a restricted free agent. But if the team doesn't match, they will receive 2 first-round draft picks, 1 second-round pick, and 1 third-round pick. Pretty good compensation there, I'd say, and some teams might have no problem just giving up those picks. Then we get into the big one. $10,725,315 and higher, 4 first-round picks. Now, why do I talk about the offer sheets? Oh, and also, I guess now, before it was 7 days for a team to match, but now I guess it's 5. So, teams got to decide if one of their guys gets offer sheeted, it's 7 days instead of 5. Yeah, that's cutting it down, and you really got to make that choice. So, but why am I talking about offer sheets here? Because the Minnesota Wild, they've got some decisions to make. They only have $9,081,412 of projected cap space for next season. You have $9 million to do that, to try to work something out here. Now the restricted free agents, you have Brandon Duhaime, Mason Shaw, Sam Steele, Kalen Addison, and Philip Gustafson. That's the one I worry about most when it comes to the RFAs. The unrestricted free agents, you have Gustav Nyquist, Ryan Reeves, Oscar Sundqvist, Matt Dumba, and John Klingberg. There's no way they're going to be able to sign all these guys with that cap space. This is why I worry about offer sheets, though. Philip Gustafson. He's an RFA. Now, there are teams out there that have a lot of cap space. And with the Minnesota Wild only having a little over $9 million in projected cap space, what worries me, because he ended up, for a guy who only got in about half, I don't even know if he got in half the games during the season, but he had the second best stats in the entire league. Now, if that is not just an aberration, if that turns into, him becoming a fantastic goaltender, this is what worries me. He's an RFA. That's why I talk about some of these offer sheets. Number one, what would you get? What kind of, what is he worth? What is he worth? What kind of offer sheet would he be worth? Now, and this is the thing. The higher the tier here, the more General Manager Bill Guerin has to think and figure out, what the hell do I do? Because he's got all of these restricted free agents, and he's got 5 UFAs. I mean, there's, they're all going to want to get paid. I mean, Dumba's going to want to get paid. Klingberg's going to want to get paid. I mean, I think you could maybe keep Reeves on a somewhat cheaper deal, because Reeves right now, what does Ryan Reeves make here? Ryan Reeves, again, this is what I love about Cap Friendly. Where is Ryan Reeves? No, that doesn't exactly say here on Cap Friendly. Well, that's if I went back to it. But, you could probably keep him for, maybe $1 or $2 million. But that'll really cut into that too. And then you got Dumba, who's going to want to, he's going to want to get paid. Klingberg is probably, he's still looking for a long-term contract. But what worries me here is Philip Gustafsson. Because with the Wild only having $9 million in cap space, because of this over here, they're dead cap space the next 2 seasons. Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, Bill Guerin decided to buy both of their contracts out. So they are getting paid, and they are on the cap of the Minnesota Wild. Zach Parise and Ryan Suter, both $7,371,794. Combined, $14,743,588. Yep, let me do that again. $14,743,588. There we go. His mouth sometimes talks a little faster. But that right there that's the albatross around the Wild's neck. That's the thing that's hanging around their neck that really is going to impact the RFAs and the UFAs. But again, getting back to Gustafsson, if somebody offer sheets him, which is entirely possible, if you get a team that has a ton of cap space that decides, we could use a halfway decent goaltender. Hey, let's try to get Gustafsson out of Minnesota. What do you offer him? What do you do? What offer sheet do you offer Gustafsson to literally make Bill Guerin choke and want to throw stuff all over his office? Because I don't think that you would give him, I don't think you would offer Gustafsson in the 4th tier. I don't think somebody is going to offer Gustafsson between $6 million and $6.5 to $8.5 million. I don't think anybody offers that for him. I mean, but he's young. He's young. And they could maybe get that. It's entirely possible, especially for a team that, if a team's got a lot of cap space, yeah, they're okay. Here you go. But that would be a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd round pick. What would you offer him? Because I think anywhere between the first 2 tiers, I think is an instant match. I think the Wild instantly match that, which then really cuts down on, you'd be saying goodbye to a good chunk of the rest of these players, I think. So if you offered Gustafsson, say, let's just throw out 5 years. Yeah, 5 years, $25 million. So $5 million a year. That puts you right in here for a 1st round and a 3rd round pick, which, by the way, has to be that particular team's own pick. They can't get that pick from another trade or something that they made. That has to be their pick in that particular draft, which I don't think would be this upcoming draft. I think that would be for the next draft. I think. you do there? What does Bill Guerin do? If some teams, say like the San Jose Sharks or the Arizona Coyotes, or some team that just kind of comes along and throws out an offer sheet that is like $5 million. What does Guerin do? I don't know. It is very, it's very worrisome. Here's a team that could potentially do that. The Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres have almost $17 million in cap space. They could afford to offer sheet $5 million per for 5 years to Philip Gustafsson. But does that happen, though? Does a team actually try to throw out an offer sheet to Gustafsson or to any of the RFAs that are on the Wild that are on the list for the Minnesota Wild? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see, but that is the one that worries me out of the restricted free agents. Gustafsson getting offer sheeted is the one that worries me the most, because Marc-Andre Fleury is under contract for one more year, and then we probably think he probably hangs it up. And we were kind of hoping, maybe then we get, if Fleury retires, Gustafsson's the starter, and then Wallstedt is brought up, and there's your tandem for the Minnesota Wild. Now, the fact that Gustafsson is the RFA, I don't know. I don't know if Bill Guerin immediately matches if some team like Buffalo or San Jose or Arizona or one of these teams with a ton of cap space, if they offer Gustafsson 5 years, $25 million for a $5 million a year cap hit, I don't know. That's half the caps. That's half of the projected cap space that'd be gone on one guy. I think you would then say goodbye to Dumba, Klingberg, probably Nyquist. I think you might also say goodbye to Duhaime, Shaw, Steele, and Addison. I don't know what they do, but if some team offers that kind of deal for Philip Gustafsson and Guerin can't match it and Gustafsson leaves, I think number one, it will tick a lot of the fans off. But honestly, he will have had nobody to blame but himself because of this. We never understood why he decided to buy both of them out at the same time. One, maybe, one, okay. But him buying both of them out, imagine this. If you don't have, even if you only buy one of them out, that's still only $7 million against the cap, but you would still have that amount. Let's just say, because they're getting paid the same, so it wouldn't matter which one gets bought out. But if he only buys one of them out, he's saving over $7 million here. Put that on top of the projected cap space. Oh, yeah, to pry Gustafsson out of here, you're going to have to go like right here. You're going to have to go between $6.5 and $8.5 million for Gustafsson. Which then he might still match because he would have, he'd have $16 million in cap space. But no. He bought both of them out. For the next 2 seasons, it is costing the Minnesota Wild $14,743,588. That is an absolutely choking amount. And we never understood as fans why he did that. But if he loses Philip Gustafsson because of the fact that the cap space he has, if he can afford it, because you're talking, that's half of that cap space. That's a little more than half the cap space if somebody offers Gustafsson 5 years at $25 million. Call me crazy, but we lose Gustafsson because there's no cap space because of this over here for the next 2 seasons. I don't know if Bill Guerin would be long for the GM job. At least for if I were the owner, yeah, no, I'd be like, Bill, sorry, no, you're out. Because I mean, to me, that was just totally irresponsible. I mean, you literally handicapped your team for 3 seasons. Last year was only about $12.5 million that it cost them against the cap. This year and next year, it's $14 million, almost, in the high 14 millions that you've blown, that is on your cap, that you're not going to get rid of until the 24-25 season. And I don't know. But I mean, if you lose Filip Gustavsson, a goaltender who, I mean, he looked pretty darn good. We got him out of Ottawa, and he was fantastic. In the games that he started, he was phenomenal. He was the only one that was ahead of him in overall stats for goaltenders was Linus Ullmark, who most likely is going to win the Vezina Trophy. But what does he get offered? Does he get offer sheeted at all? I'd love to know what you guys think, especially if you're Minnesota Wild fans. Does some team come along and offer sheet Gustafsson? If they do, what area do they offer it? And does Guerin match? He'd only have 5 days to figure it out if he wanted to. But again, that would depend what offer sheet he gets. If he gets one at all. I mean, this is just, speculating completely. Hoping that no team offer sheets him. We're hoping that nobody does. But that's why I thought I would look at that and write down the offer sheet information there to kind of compare what GM would potentially really want to give Bill Guerin a splitting migraine over Filip Gustavsson. If he does get offer sheeted, who do you think does it? Does he get offer sheeted? If he does get offer sheeted, who gives the offer sheet? What team? And how much? How much would a team be willing to give up to get Filip Gustavsson? Love to know what you guys think. And also, do you think like I do that was the dumbest thing? That was one of the dumbest things that Bill Guerin could have done as a GM? Buying out both Parise and Suter? Because I think it was. But I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know again. Does he get offer sheeted? Does Gustafsson get offer sheeted? Who does it? And at what price point? Like I said, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but I thought I'd do this and kind of look at what exactly could happen, and yeah, because there are a number of teams that are going to have a lot of cap space. What team could do it? I don't know. Love to know what you guys think. If you have not done it already, again, it'd be awesome if you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the little bell if you want to be notified anytime future videos are uploaded. And yeah, 25 minutes in wasn't, but there was a good chunk of information here. And again, just the What are the odds that Gustafsson gets offer sheeted? By who? And how much? I will see you guys later.